from Surprise in Arizona. Hope you're all having a super fantastic sparkling day. Welcome to Before the Dirt Nap podcast number 2124. Tonight we're talking about the space between who I was and who I'm becoming. Yeah, there's that little standard, there's that little spot where, hang on, I've got to cross off. All right, there's that space. It's a quiet space. But here we go. So you ready to talk about the space between who you were and who you're becoming? You were never behind, you were becoming. So whenever you feel like you're behind, just remember you're becoming. You're in that space, this quiet space between what was and what's next can feel like confusion, failure, a pause, a sort of like, what's happening? Why am I not going anywhere? Why am I not doing anything? I'm supposed to be doing blah, 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 blah. And you start getting into the shoulda, coulda, wouldas. Stop. That's all I can say is stop. The space in between that it's, but it's actually a sacred moment of transformation. I can't even read my own notes tonight. Oh, jeepers. I should have put my glasses in. Got that thing going with my eyes again. Need eye drops, but they're in the other room. Okay. That's quiet space between what was and what's next can feel like confusion, failure, or pause, but it's actually a sacred moment of transformation. Tonight, we're honoring the in-between, the tender transitional space that deserves just as much reverence as the milestones. What the in-between really is, it's a shedding of what no longer fits without knowing what comes next. It's stepping outside that comfort zone with no safety net. Stepping off the ledge with just a piece of rubber band tied around your feet. I don't know why bungee jumping just popped into my head, but it did. You got a recalibration of values, directions, and a compass. It's in that space. It's that quiet space where you're starting to figure things out. You're taking steps without safety nets. A space where uncertainty and possibility meet. Oh, there's such a creative time. A deeply creative time, even if it looks like stillness on the outside. I will tell you this. Today I have had a very busy day and I got the kitchen cleaned. I cleaned the kitchen, got all the dishes done and everything else. They've been piling up for a couple of days, but got the kitchen spotless. The dishwasher's even emptied. Usually that sits for a couple of days before I empty it. No, dishwasher has been put through. It's clean. I've hand washed stuff that's all dried and put away. The dishwasher stuff's all put away. I have washed and dried and folded all my laundry and put all that away. I've had a very productive day. I've even taken all the trash out, even though trash is supposed to go out tomorrow, but because it's Memorial Day tomorrow, it won't get picked up till Tuesday, so I've got an extra day. Yay! What else did we do today, Zeffy? Oh, we walked some steps today. We got our steps in, did our walk this morning. Still got our evening walk to go. We've had a very creative time. We sat there with ChatGPT today and brainstormed some very interesting ideas. It's like I get this. I've now started writing down. I've got ideas in my little notebook here. This is my notebook that basically walks around the house with me. And there's times where I'm sitting there, I'm like, oh, yes, we need to do that. I have a page with when I come across movies, I'm like a snippet of a movie and I'm writing that down. So I've had a very creative day to day of coming up with different ideas and things like that as to what's it going to look like further down the road. So, a deeply creative time, even if it looks like stillness on the outside. So it may not have looked like I was just sitting there playing around on the computer today. Zeffy probably thought I was nuts because it's a Sunday. We usually don't have the computer on Sundays. What was I doing with the laptop on and doing stuff? And she would just like sit there and just look at me like, this is not you. Isn't this the day where we don't put the computer on? Yeah, she's going to find out that's tomorrow. We just pushed her today. So it's been a very creative and very productive day today. So not only on the creative side, but also on the household side, which has been awesome. I haven't gone out and done my yard yet. My yard desperately needs to be done, but it's just too hot out there. It's just too hot. I like going out when it's like 60 degrees in the morning and getting that stuff done. Yeah, we haven't seen that for a little bit. Yeah, maybe tomorrow morning I'll get out there and get it. I've got to get it done because I've I know there's a notice waiting in my mailbox from the HOA to say, you need to take care of this or we're going to fine you. So, yeah, I guess I'll get that done. Anyway, that's tomorrow morning. So what happens when we rush through that in-between period? So we got this in-between time, which is shedding what no longer fits us without knowing what comes next. We're recalibrating our values, our direction, our inner compass, making sure they're all in alignment with ourselves. Remember, we're not behind, we are becoming, and it's that space in between of who we were and who we're becoming. If we rush through it, we carry old identities into new chapters. We make choices out of fear instead of alignment. We miss the wisdom available only in the pause. We judge ourselves unfairly for not doing enough. Yeah, I am totally guilty of all of that. So I am learning, like today was very much in rhythm. We talked about rhythm a couple of weeks ago, and when you're in the groove and you're just doing stuff without thinking about it, like cleaning the kitchen, doing the laundry, that sort of stuff that I hate doing. When you're in the groove and you're actually doing it, you know you're in that groove. There's no thought behind it. You're just doing it. You're doing what needs to be done. At the same time, your brain's going with all these different creative ideas, and you grab your little notebook and you write them down because you may not want to visit them at that point. And then at one point, I'd finished folding the first load of laundry, and I put it all away and everything else. And I sat there on the bed, and then I just kind of like flopped back on the bed. And that's when Zeffie finally came and got up on the bed. She laid in the hallway watching me, trying to figure out what I was doing. So she finally came and laid up on the bed, and we just fell asleep there. And we slept for about an hour, I think it was. I don't know. It was like 11:30 when we woke up. And I sort of thought, oh, got to go switch the laundry, because I had load 2 in the dryer and load 3 in the washing machine. I need to go switch those over and get them put away. I felt a little lightheaded getting up, and I thought, okay, I need to get some lunch sorted out to do before I exert all this energy. And so I went and grabbed a couple of baby carrots and munched on those while I got the second load folded and put away, and the third load into the dryer. So I got that all taken care of. So by 1 o'clock, all the laundry was done. My kitchen was almost there, and I wasn't going to eat anything until I had cleaned my kitchen. So that was a little incentive there. But just doing those menial tasks, my brain's going in all these different directions. And my notebook is laying open on an open page where I can go and scribble things in. And yes, I do have other pages where I've got titles at the top to drop ideas for that into. And like there's a couple of movies I had seen some video shorts on, some short video pieces on, you know how they take a scene out of a movie, and like I got to go watch Hidden Figures again. I don't even know how many times I've watched that movie. But lately in my feed, there has been a lot of clips from Hidden Figures. And it's such a great movie. And so I have lost count the number of times I've seen it, but now I have the urge to go see it. So maybe we'll watch that tonight. Who knows? Maybe I'll just sit and read. I don't know. I haven't thought about it. We'll just see we're just going to see where the rhythm takes us. So remember, when you rush through things, you're going to carry old identities into new chapters. You're going to make choices out of fear instead of alignment. You're going to miss wisdom that is available only in the pause. You're going to judge ourselves unfairly for not doing enough. You are not stalled. You're steeping. So if you think of taking a tea bag, we leave tea bags to steep for X number of minutes before we enjoy our cup of tea. Unless you're my mother, where it's dunk. Is it my mother or my sister-in-law that does that? They take the tea bed, they dip it into the water, and that's their tea. And I'm like, it doesn't even get whatever. Mine's got to sit in there for a few minutes. So you're not stalled, you're steeping. You're in that hold space. You're in that pause where you are not questioning things, but waiting for things to fall into place. You're looking at what choices you have, which are going to be in alignment with you. You're taking that time to not rush through. You're checking on who am I and where am I going, even if you don't have that safety net. How to hold space for becoming. Let go of timelines. Yours and everyone else's. Let go of the timelines. Practice softness instead of self-criticism. Actually, somebody's going to ask me what letting go of timelines means. It means you've got this timeline out there. Yes, there are some timelines which are hard and fast because of the time sensitivity of them. Then you have other timelines, like for dreams and goals, that you've put this date on it when it's going to be completed by. But then when you're in this little space, when you're holding your space for becoming, you realize that timeline is not realistic. It's not going to happen. And then what are you going to feel? You're going to feel like you've let yourself down, you've let others down, you're going to feel crappy about yourself. So let go of the timeline. Think about it, pray over it, meditate on it, whatever it is that you do in that quiet time to just breathe, and the new timeline, which is manageable and doable, will appear. Practice softness instead of self-criticism. Notice where growth is happening beneath the surface. Think about when you plant seeds. There's a lot of work going on below the surface before that little shoot comes out top of the dirt. Think of a duck on water. They're just gliding along, yet underneath their feet are going like crazy. So notice where growth is happening beneath the surface. Choose reflection over reaction. Rather than reacting to a situation, take a step back, reflect on it, and then move forward. Honor the invisible shifts just as much as the visible ones. Those invisible shifts are those ones below the surface where all that growth is happening and you're about to burst forth. Just keep the calm, take a deep breath, meditate, whatever it is that you need to do to keep yourself calm and in that space. Then you have your legacy connection. Becoming isn't loud. It doesn't always show up in achievements or titles. It just shows up. It often reveals itself in how we choose to pause, to reflect, and to be honest with ourselves. That's the legacy growing with intention, even in the quiet. So you don't turn around and suddenly go, here I am, I have become. No. It just quietly builds inside of us. It doesn't burst forth. It will just gently push that soil aside and pop up and go, hello world, here I am. So did I really just really do that? So take that time to pause, to reflect, be honest with ourselves. Journal like crazy during this time. I find that journaling helps me discover a lot about myself. Like when I start writing something, I'm like, I'll be writing something down about myself, about some situation I've been in and how I felt about it. And then all of a sudden I'll go, actually, when I think about it, I don't like how that happened. Or, no, that's not what I was feeling at the time. What I was feeling was, and that's when me starting to be honest with myself about things that I have been through, things that I have done, and what is it that I now need to do. And trust me, journaling helps a lot. And there is something about putting pen to paper in your journal and actually physically writing it. It becomes, for a lot of, they actually should prove that there is a mental connection between pen or pencil on paper actually physically writing, that it sticks more, that if you're journaling, it becomes clearer to you than sitting and typing. You might think, oh, it's fine, I just sit and type in it. Yeah, not always. Try picking up pen and paper. It doesn't matter what your handwriting looks like. Nobody's going to see it except for you. Unless you decide to show it to somebody, nobody else is going to see it. When you finish the journal and you want to make sure that nobody else sees it and you don't think you're going to reflect back into it, go burn it. Although the genealogist inside of me is going, no, don't do that. You want to keep it for legacy. You want to let people know what you were going through, what times were like for you, what the situation was like. Well, maybe you could go through the journal and pull out the relevant pieces and keep those and burn the rest. I don't know. Some people are like, I don't want people reading my journal. Then don't let them. But from the legacy point of view, from the telling your story point of view, at least leave something behind so people know what your life was like, so they hear it in your words. That's the important thing. They hear what your life was like in your words. And that's where journals come in so much. But if it's that deep personal stuff that you really don't want other people seeing, rip those pages out and burn them after you've written them. Or you might want to keep it for reflection. I keep finding journals. Just about every box I go through, I find one or two journals in there. I'm like, oh, here's another notebook I can use. Oh, no, I actually written in this one. What did I write in this one? And it's actually kind of it's very distracting as I'm sorting through the boxes and trying to get sorted for the move. But at the same time, it's really revealing when I start reading stuff. I'm like, oh. So you know what you should do? You know what you should do at that point? Or what you might want to do at that point? When you read back in an old journal and you read stuff there, you're going to have thoughts and feelings about what's written on that page. Go to your current journal and turn around and say, hey, today I found this journal and I happened to flip it open. It was on this date here, and this is basically what I said, and this is how I feel about it now. It hit me in a way. There was a reason I had to find this. You know, when you open up a journal, you open up a book and it falls on a certain page or something, there is a reason you're supposed to read that. When you open up a journal on a certain page, you might need to reflect on that because it might be the answer that you need for who you are becoming. All right, you ready for your reflection questions? They're written in the description below, and you can also get the Porchlight Reflection Journal. Scan, you know the story, scan on the QR code up here in the corner, and you can order your own copy of this. And I've actually started writing it. I'm just going to make sure. So this one is, what are you beginning to believe about yourself that you once doubted? That's the thought that's on this page. This is your free page. You can write whatever you want on that page. So your reflection questions for today. Where in my life am I rushing through the in-between? Yeah, where are you rushing through? What part of me is quietly becoming something new? How can I trust the process more deeply even when I don't have all the answers? That's a really cool question. How can I trust the process more deeply even when I don't have all the answers? Yeah. Divorce the results and marry the process. Somebody told me that one time. Divorce the results and marry the process. In other words, trust in the process. Yes. Forget the results. Trust in the process. And our closing thought tonight to close us out before we head out for the evening is the space between is not lost time. It's where your future self is learning how to root. And with that, we are out of here. Go out, have a super fantastic, sparkling evening. We'll catch you guys back here tomorrow evening at 6 p.m. Pacific. We are starting a new series tomorrow. We finished permission slips on Friday. So we've got a new series coming this week in the Porchlight chats. Oh, that might be a good name for the So on our podcast tomorrow night, we're going to start our next series. Our next series is going to be on sacrifice, starting with Memorial Day tomorrow. So go out, have a super fantastic, sparkling evening, and we'll catch you guys back here tomorrow evening at 6 p.m.